Name, Sucrose. Surname, Carbohydrate. This is my story. It all started when I was placed into that huge, wet, filthy cavern. I was grinded into many small pieces. I remember how horrifying and painful it was. I was then forced to mix with Maltese, who started to lick me away. Oh, how I hate her more than anything else. We were now all together, and our group was known as the Bowlers. After the first torture stage, we stayed close together as we moved through the pharynx into some long, dark tunnel, which I believe is called the esophagus. Here we had time to rest and recover from the horrors of the wet cavern. It was a long passageway, and the further we travelled, the more I calmed down. And the more I calmed down, the more I spoke. And the more I spoke, the more I learnt about the others in this group. Eventually, we all became great friends. It was as if we just became one. I didn't know it yet, but we were about to enter what was described to us as hell. Yes, hell. In the human language, I believe it is called the stomach. It was absolutely terrifying. All I remember was suddenly being separated from everyone in the group. We were all separated, and in the distance all I could see was my best friend, Paul Protein, being ripped and torn apart. I couldn't get the image out of my head. It haunts me. How would I describe the stomach? I think the best way to describe this terrifying place is an ocean of lava and fire. The lava is like acid, burning away everything it can get its hands on. Maltese, she also broke off from me. I have no clue where she is now. We weren't in the stomach for long though. I entered the small intestine where I was broken up in two, my upper and my lower body, glucose and fructose respectively. My glucose-infested upper body was taken through the intestinal lining into the bloodstream, and that was the last I heard of it. Rumors say, however, that he gave off energy, but I don't know for sure. But I hope its ashes were dispersed all over this creature's body. My fructose-infested lower body was metabolized in the liver. I was already used to being torn, ripped, beaten, and crushed, so it wasn't as painful as before. I was then used to generate glycogen and triglyceride, which is needed for the human's body. I learned that my deceased upper body was metabolized into carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. I then made up my mind. The human body is a scary and terrible and horrible place. I was licked, I was crushed, I was abused, cut in half, and metabolized. I decided it was too much for me to handle, and at that moment I closed my eyes, entered a dream state, and never woke up again. Till this day, I still dream that parts of me at least brought life to the parts of this body. I dream that Frank Fiber is the only one of us who got out alive. Lucky fish. If this is true, then I'm happy for him. I'm still in this eternal dreaming state, and I hope it stays this way. This is my story.